That way when I glue them up, there's the beautiful book match effect and they'll line up nice and easily. I happen to be out of biscuits, so I'm just cutting a wide slot, which is why I'm taking multiple small passes and just kind of wiggling it along. And then I just cut some rectangular pieces of wood and slid them in there, and they work the same as biscuits. I went ahead and added a splash of glue inside the holes for the biscuits and onto the actual edge joint itself. Now you can go ahead and see those handmade biscuits yourself. Once I got everything slid together as tightly as I could by hand, I went ahead and threw on a couple clamps on the top and the same amount of clamps on the bottom. This is going to help prevent warping, and I went ahead and checked it with a straight edge as I'm going, and if it's starting to lean one way, I just tighten it a little bit. Once everything was glued up though, it was a little bit too wide to fit through my planer, so I just took my jointer plane and smoothed it out the best that I could, and it turned out really well. Now that I got those two panels flattened up, I'm going to take them over and straighten out the ends. This little crosscut sliding thing that I built was kind of jank, but it actually got the job done, and I'm just using the fence here to make sure that both the panels are the exact same width. Now I forgot to film it, but I went ahead and made a back panel for the carcass out of plywood, and now we need to take the two side panels and cut a groove in them, that way the back panel can slide into them. I didn't feel like setting up my dado stack, so I just did a couple passes and tapped the fence over until I got a nice snug fit that wasn't too tight that it will squeeze out all the glue, but would still fit in there nice and firm. Now this fit definitely took a couple tries, but once I got it to slide in, it was way easier to set up the next one. Now before I glued the entire carcass together, I wanted to make sure I got this bark inclusion out, so I took a chisel and just hogged out all the bark and then filled it with epoxy. Now this carcass is going to have 3 drawers, and in between the drawers I cut a dado, that way I could slide a 1/4 inch piece of plywood. This will give the carcass a lot more rigidity, as well as in between the drawer fronts, because I'm doing this really cool live edge crack thing that you'll see later. I need there to be a piece of wood, that way you can't just see into the hollow out carcass. So I added this little mortise there, and these pieces will be glued on over that 1/4 inch piece and slightly mortised into the side panels, and it turns out really well.